Today I'm going to take some time to discuss the competitive division that's coming to Destiny next season. There's a lot of Crucible changes that are happening, but I believe that this is by far the most important. The reason I say this is because I feel like one of the most important things for any game that has PvP right now is whether the ranked system in that game works. There are other games like Apex Legends, Overwatch, Valorant. All these games have one thing in common. They have a ranked system. Even if it doesn't work perfectly, at least it functions. Working is pretty much the bare minimum these days for whether or not the competitive scene in a game is going to work out. And this is a big step for Bungie. The thing is, we're not saying that Bungie hasn't tried this before, because when competitive came out, that was when Not Forgotten came out. And everybody enjoyed playing it. Some people were grinding for even the Redrix's Claymore. All those things made the game exciting, but that was also the mistake that Bungie made. They put up a pinnacle weapon attached to getting the highest rank in competitive, which made it so that people do what they always do in Destiny, which is go get somebody to do it for them. The reason why competitive works in most games is because they can achieve a goal that they've set for themselves within the ranking system. So with the revamp to this, I feel like Bungie is finally going to be able to take a step in the right direction. The first thing I want to talk about today is skill-based matchmaking. Now, I know it came out in Quick Play, and a lot of people didn't like this because, well, people wanted to go to Quick Play to have fun. The thing is, what Bungie has done is they've loosened the skill-based matchmaking in Quick Play, but they wanted to be able to test out whether or not the skill-based matchmaking works before they start a competitive mode to make sure that they actually have a system that would work in that. So let's look at the 3 points that Bungie wanted to accomplish by changing everything for the competitive scene, and at the end of the video we'll discuss whether or not they actually achieved it. The first one is all players can find a variety of balanced matches and feel competitive. A player's PvP division is a core part of their Guardian identity. Maintain places in the ecosystem to not engage in ranked play but still have decently balanced matches, or to not engage in skill-based matchmaking at all. So let's answer the most important question. What is this competitive division going to be? Bungie says that they're removing Glory and adding a 3v3 ranked playlist called the competitive division, which is a true ladder-based system. So there are going to be 7 divisions within it, so you'll go from copper to bronze to silver to gold to platinum, then adept and ascendant. And each division will have 3 subdivisions. So you're going to go from like copper 1, copper 2, copper 3, and then start at bronze 1, bronze 2, bronze 3. It will have 3 different game modes in it: survival, rift, and showdown. So how's all of this going to work? If you're a new light player, there's going to be a quest for you that you have to complete to be able to access this competitive mode. If you're a returning player or a veteran player, you'll be able to access it right away. I believe that this is Bungie's way of just making sure that people are not making new accounts every day to be able to exploit the system. You could only do so much to make people not act stupid, but at least Bungie is trying to set a quest that you have to do every time you try to access this game mode. Once you've done that, there's going to be something called the placement series. What this is your first 7 games, Bungie is going to check how you played and use that to determine what rank you're going to start at. But this first season, the highest rank you're going to be able to have is Gold 3, and then in subsequent seasons, whatever your max rank was in the previous season is going to help determine what rank they're going to put you in the new season. So I'm guessing if, for example, you're on the max rank, which is Ascendant, the next season they'll either put you at Ascendant or at Adept, just to make sure that you have a way of grinding again. So once you're done with this placement series, you get into the real rank system, and now you're battling your way to see how high you can put your rank. Because this is the first time Bungie is actually setting up this competitive scene, I think that's why they're doing this placement series, because other games, everybody just starts at the lowest rank and everybody's battling it out. But I feel like this is a fine-tuned system. Since Destiny has been out for a while and people are already good at the game, there is a way for them to separate those highest skilled players from everybody else. And for someone who's really good, instead of them starting all the way from copper, they start at gold 3 and they're ready to take their journey to see if they can get to Ascendant. After you get into the competitive division, there's going to be 4 factors that are going to determine how you go up in rank. The match outcome, whether you win or lose, the division inflation or deflation, how far above or below your division is compared to your skill, match performance, how well you performed on a match-to-match basis, and player-to-lobby skill data, how your skill compares to everyone else in the match. So basically, if you are playing against somebody who's really good, Bungie is saying that if you still win, that's going to play a huge factor in how many points that you earn and how much higher you'll be able to go from your current rank. So basically, they're putting a lot of factors in to make sure that you're not trying to beat the system. However you play, however you perform, who you're playing against, all those things are going to come into consideration in terms of how many points you're going to get to be able to rank up. There's something very interesting that Bungie is also adding to this competitive division, and I feel like Bungie is trying their best to make this as perfect as possible so that it just comes out of the gate as one of the perfect competitive game modes in gaming right now. If you get enough points to rank up from, say, Gold 1 to Gold 2, you just automatically get into that next subdivision. Same goes for if you lose points. But if you get enough points to be able to rank up from a division to the next one, so say you're trying to go from gold to platinum, you enter a promotion series where you have to win 2 out of 3 games to be able to get into that next division. The idea from what I see here is, since there's SBMM, they're going to put you in a pool with other people who are also competing to get into that next division. That way you would have to beat people who are similarly skilled to then advance to that next level. It's basically a way of gatekeeping you from getting into that next level without beating enough people within your division to be able to rank up. For someone who's much better than everybody in their rank, they'll probably win their first 2 games, but if you're not that good, it'll give you a process, like a grinding process to be able to do before you can actually rank up. So all of it seems pretty good so far, and the same thing is going to go for relegation. Now I feel like this is the one that might cause a little bit of an issue for people, even though it seems like a good thing. When you're about to rank down, say you're going from platinum and you're dropping back to gold, you're going to go into a relegation series where you have to win 2 of 3 games so that you're able to stay in that, or you will drop back into the previous rank. Because Destiny players like to get baby, this is probably going to be an issue. However, you have a chance to be able to stay in your rank. At least it's not one of those things where they're just dropping you, or they're dropping you even further into the lower rank because you deranked. One of the things that I feel like was perfect about what I read today concerning the competitive division was the fact that Bungie has removed the idea of adding something like Not Forgotten, a pinnacle weapon, as what you grind for from the competitive scene, because Destiny players love to be carried and love to do carries. To each their own, but at least this way, there's nothing as the final level for you to get that you need to go and hunt for. If you want to get better, if you want to see what your rank is, you just go in there and play. You don't need to ask somebody to help you to get there. Not to mention, for the people who would also be participating in this, the people who would normally be doing the carries, they would also need to play the game mode enough to be able to keep their rank so they don't de-rank and things like that. So if this all works out well, it'll create a big PvP community within Destiny, where it's not just people getting carried and people carrying. You're actually going to have everybody playing and everybody on a competitive level just enjoying the game. Since there's not going to be any weapon to look forward to at the end of getting to Ascendant, which is the highest rank that they've told us about, Bungie actually decided to still give something so you still feel like there's something in game that you're working towards. And it's how many points you get, how many reputation points you get as you continue to win games going from rank to rank. So they've stated that for copper and bronze, you'll get 1 time the number of points that you normally get per win or per game that you play in all the game modes for Crucible. But if you're silver, you get 1.1 times, gold 1.2, platinum 1.3, adept 1.4, and ascendant 1.5. Basically, whether you're playing trials or you're playing quick play, whatever you're doing, those Crucible engrams and those weapons are going to come in faster if you have a higher rank. So it's something that's subtle, but I believe that it's just enough to make people know that, okay, I'm earning more and I'm getting more loot. I'm good because I have a high rank, but at the same time, there's something in game that I'm also getting more of. And I think this was an excellent way to approach it, because I myself have tried to find different ways to be able to allow people feel like there's an incentive to playing and grinding like this. And I've always thought that cosmetics was a good idea, but having something like this in game where you're able to earn rewards at a faster rate is also great. And I believe Bungie also said that they're going to look into creating cosmetic rewards and how they want to assign it to the different ranks. If they're able to get this right, that's just going to be an icing on the cake. Now you'll have something in game to work towards, and you'll also have something like cosmetics, emblems, shaders, things like that to earn maybe at the end of the season or something. We've talked about the fact that there's no competitive reward. However, everybody who's playing the competitive division is going to have a chance to get the weapon that's returning called the Rose. It used to be a 150 RPM weapon. Since those don't exist anymore, it's going to be a 140 RPM hand cannon, but you're still going to get the movement boost for a 150. So they're still making the weapon special in a way. The way that this is going to work is when you do the quest at the beginning of the season, you get the weapon to drop with the original rolls that it always had. And then every character that you complete the challenges on for that weapon each week, you'll be able to get 3 different random rolls each week, whether you're at Ascendant or you're at Copper. As far as you're able to complete those challenges each week, you can come into competitive just for the sake of getting a new hand cannon with a better roll or a different roll. This is another genius idea, because even if you're not the best PvP player, if there is a roll of the Rose that you want, or this unique weapon that feels like a 150 but is actually a 150 or 140 RPM weapon, you could still come into competitive each week and play it a little bit, which will give you enough of a taste of it that if you actually wanted to come and see how far you could get, you still have something to grind for before you actually look towards seeing how high of a rank that you can get. So for me, I think it's just really cool to involve people in PvP, especially in the competitive scene. Give them something that they can look forward to and they can get without having to wait in a queue for 2, 3, 4 hours sometimes, or days or weeks to get a chance to be able to play with somebody to get access to it. All you need to do is play, complete the challenges. It'll probably include something like rounds or maybe a few kills. If it takes you a little bit of a time, maybe you don't need 3 characters a week, you just do 1 character each week. But at least you have that chance to come in there and practice and play and have a little bit of fun. It's going to be competitive, but if it's against people that are on the same rank as you, as far as people are not exploiting the system and sitting in Copper forever, you'll be able to come in there each week, get your loot, and have a little bit of fun and a little bit of interest in the competitive scene. Because right now, there's a lot of people in Destiny who don't even touch PvP at all, because every time they go into Crucible without getting somebody to carry them, it feels so toxic. At the beginning of the video, I said I was going to touch on the 3 things Bungie said they wanted to achieve by making this new competitive division, and discuss whether I felt like they hit that or not. The first one was all players can find a variety of balanced matches and feel competitive. Now, since people have already been complaining about how hard it is to play other players in quick play due to the skill-based matchmaking that was introduced there, I have no doubt that that same feeling is going to apply here, and even better. So every match is going to feel competitive, because I've played quick play myself, and I don't think that that's the harshest form of SBMM that you can get. If you get a harsher version with this competitive division that's coming out. So the idea is you play a few games, Bungie puts you in a specific rank, and every match that you play gives you a chance to get to a new rank. And for you to get to a new division, you actually need to beat players of similar skill to get there. So there's so many different levels to making sure that you're facing people that you should be able to feel like you're competing against, not like you're just getting wiped out. So I think for that first part, they definitely have a lot in place to make sure that each match feels balanced and competitive at the same time. In terms of a player's PvP division is a core part of their Guardian identity, I believe they're basically hinting at the fact that whatever rank you get is going to determine how much XP or reputation points that you get by playing other Crucible game modes. I think that's also a fantastic idea, and they pretty much figured out a way to make that work. The last part is to maintain places in the ecosystem to not engage in ranked play, but still have decently balanced matches, or to not engage in skill-based matchmaking at all. So this is basically alluding to the fact that they're bringing so much SBMM into this side. That way, if you want to compete, you have a place to go. And if you don't want to compete, you'll be in the other game mode. So by making the ranked system work, I feel like it's actually going to make the ecosystem of PvP in general really good. So you can choose if you want to sweat it out, or if you just want to play a regular game during the weekend. Like I said before, they discussed quick play, and they said they're going to loosen the SBMM and make it more connection based. This way, if you want to play quick play, whether it's Clash or Control now, you can do that and have a little bit more fun. If you want to get into competitive and see how high you can get your rank, you can do that as well. So if you want to know about any of the other Crucible changes, the different changes to Iron Banner, or just the Crucible nodes in general, the way that that's going to play out, I have a quick TWAB that's also on the channel. You can check that out. I'll link that on the screen as well. Thank you guys so much for listening. Let me know what your opinion on all of this is in the comment section as well. For me, I think it's a great idea and I feel like it would help PvP a lot in Destiny regardless of the sandbox changes. Of course, sandbox changes will help to be able to make the game feel like everybody can use everything, but that's a much harder thing to fix than this rank system that we're getting right now. So let me know what you think below and I'll see you guys in the next one.